Hi everyone, I'm Spectre. I'm here to talk to you about Spectre Fleet today. So, I've been flying with Spectre for a little bit over 4 years, and FCing with Spectre for about 4 years. Before that, I flew in FC for Bombers Bar as well, and I flew with quite a few of the NPSI groups that you've probably spoken to and or are going to be spoken to about. But I'm here today to talk to you about why I think you should check out Spectre and fly with us if you haven't already. Has anyone here actually flown with us before? I'm guessing probably not. Otherwise, why would you be
Yes.
out? Okay, awesome. Um, so what is Spectre Fleet, and like why should you fly with us? Do feel free to jump in with questions as we go as well. It's pretty casual. So Spectre is one of like the longest running NPSI groups. We have like a pretty wide range of skill level for our pilots. Like we're very casual. Like we've got people who have been flying for like 20 years since like the game was in beta. And we've got people who've just been flying for like a few weeks or months even. And we try and cater towards everyone. So um really as soon as you feel like you're able to kind of move your ship around through space and want to do some PvP, you'll probably find a fleet with us that you'll enjoy coming to. There's no real expectations on people like there is with an online, which is one of the nice things with NPSI and Spectre. Specifically, we don't do like CTAs or call to actions or like have really any expectations that you turn up. Other than you turn up and come to a fleet and have fun, right? There's no lasting standings or no need to shoot people that you can't shoot or blues or things like that or break any rules that you might have with EV Uni, right? I think you used to have stuff around shooting structures and things like that. I don't know if you still do, but they don't really require you to do anything that you don't want to do, right? And ultimately, like our fleets are relatively sort of small to medium sized. So normally we're probably between like 30 and 50 people. So it's really about at the level that you can actually make a positive, meaningful impact on the fleet as well. It's not some like turbo blob nullsec fleet where you're like one of 200 people and it sort of almost doesn't matter if you're there or not. So yeah, I think overall fleets can be like pretty fun and pretty engaging. We have a lot of different varieties of fleets as well. So we run fleets throughout the week. We run them in multiple time zones. So we have probably our biggest, strongest time zones, like EU. We also have some running in USTZ, and we also have one FC Kaiser, who's AUTZ FC for us, and he puts in a lot of the work for that time zone himself. So we have something going out throughout the week generally. It's a little bit quiet at the moment, as a lot of these EVs is over summer. But if you go to our website, you'll be able to sort of see the fleets we've got upcoming. So maybe I can just share that. If you check out this website, that's our website. That will give you a list of all the fleets that are coming up, and you can kind of see for each fleet who's FCing it, what the name of the fleet is, and what the doctrine is. You'll see we have a lot of these empty placeholders called ganked. That's a fleet we do every week on a Saturday, and that's kind of like our bigger effort fleet. So even if nothing else is happening, we almost always run that barring any unforeseen circumstances. But normally fleets will pop up normally within a day or two of someone wanting to run them on the website. So if you just keep an eye on there, I guess you get it through the NPSI feeds as well. I think you've got set up. You get an idea of what we're running and where. We run a lot of different types of fleet on that website. You can see they're all color coded. So high sec, low sec, null sec, gate camp, and events. I'd say more often than not, we're running either fleets in null sec, low sec, or parchment. Depending on kind of like what the FC wants to run at the end of the day. So we have a bit of a variety there between people going out for roams, looking to sort of gank high value targets, capitals maybe, or just, ratters, marauders, things like that, towards people who are going out looking for kind of kitey fleet fights. People were going out and taking out like a big battle cruiser brawls to go and fight people in ESSs, and day camps as well, always obviously popular. As well, we have a few of them, less of them now than we used to. So yeah, we've got like a pretty big range. I think the two we've got up at the moment for the day is actually one in half an hour. Is going to be nullsec, and then mine tomorrow, Return to Cinder, is actually a Pochman fleet where we go around Pochman looking for multi-boxing marauders and things like that, and normally try and kill a lot of very high value target ships, which is fun. Got to use taking out holdovers tonight, which I think is a artillery thrasher fleet. So the idea is you kind of land on grid with something, shoot it, it dies immediately with the high alpha damage, and then you warp off, and you just kind of keep doing that, basically. So that would be a lot of fun as well. If you're around at about 17 minutes, that's going from Jita. So if you want to join that, I probably won't take too long to talk to you, so that you have time to go to that. That'll be running if you get yourself over to Jita. So let's talk a bit about how to join. So you've seen like what fleets we've got coming up and where on the website. If you go and click on the name of the fleet on the website, it will tell you a little bit about what the fleet is actually doing and how it's running, what it's for. Like if you click on the Holdivers one today, it's going to talk to you about how it's really good for both new and experienced players. There's like fits for new players as well. And then if you have a look at the doctrine section as well, you'll see all the ships there that the FC would like to have on the fleet, basically. And I'll maybe have a detailed description, but just to kind of give you an example, here's the fleet that's going out tonight. So there you can see, you've got a range of different ships to choose from, depending on what role you want to do or what ships you can and can't fly, basically. So first step is to find the fleet that you're interested in. And then the second step is to go through the authentication steps so that you can join voice comms. So actually, if you're not already a member of the Spectre fleet Discord, let me just copy and paste that in here now so you can join it. So you'll want to go here. And in that channel, in your server, you'll see a channel called Authenticate. If you follow the instructions there, basically, they'll get you authenticated and then you'll be able to join voice. I think probably pretty similar to how things work in this Discord. So you're looking for the Authenticate server. Authenticate channel, sorry. Once you've authenticated, and you want to do that a few minutes at least before your first fleet. It's only a one-time thing, but make sure to do it before you jump onto the fleet. And then it'll be seamless, hopefully, once you do join. Make sure you're in the right place before the fleet starts. So the website will tell you where every fleet's running from. More often than not, it's Jita, but sometimes it will be somewhere different. But today is Jita, for example. So make sure you're there. FCs expect everyone to be there by the time they start forming. So if you sort of X up and you're 20 jumps away as we're leaving, having joined 10 minutes late, it's going to be a little bit hard to join, but it does happen. What you then need to do is once you've found a fleet that you want to go on and you have joined the Discord, you want to go to a channel in game called SF Spectre Fleet. I'll just type that in chat as well. If you go to that channel in game, you'll see that we've also got our event listings in there as well. And when it's time for the fleet and the fleet started forming, all the times are in Eve time, by the way. You'll see in the OATD, there's like a link to a channel called X Up One. Just join that channel and put an X in it. Just type an X, and then you'll get an invite to the fleet, basically. So hopefully then you're in a fleet, and you're all good to go. And like I said, there's a fleet going out in about 10-15 minutes as well. So if you wanted to join that and try it out, you can do that now as well. Just start getting yourselves to Jita in the background, I guess. So once you've joined the fleet, I guess the next question really is what do you want to fly? And that's one of the cool things about Spectre is we really don't have it's not really any gatekeeping as to what roles you can and can't do or anything. If you can fly a ship and want to try a role, it's really a great place to do that. So we are always in need of hunters and scouts and logi and people who want to fly command destroyers and things like that. Doing those kind of roles, I think, makes the game way more interesting than just doing only ever flying BTS. Although there's obviously a place for that as well, especially if you're getting started. So I think, yeah, do think about it. Challenge yourself to fly something a little bit different and something that might provide a bit more value to the fleet as well. And I think it's a really great place to learn that, because it's not like we expect people to be able to hunt with like 20 years of experience, right? Or to do Logi, and having done that for like loads of times before, it's like really a good place to start learning how to do those roles. And if you're never sure on what to do or not sure what to do, then just ask the FC or ask other people in the channel. People are normally really helpful or want to be helpful to get you going. It's also like a great place to start FC as well. I don't know how experienced people here are, but if you want to start FCing, it was one of the places that I've started really, that and Bombers Bar. Always welcoming new FCs. Obviously you need to have a bit of experience of like not running fleets, but of being on fleets and understanding kind of like how fleets run and all that sort of jazz. But I think I started FCing at Spectre after I've been playing for like 6 or 7 months, which isn't actually that long, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, really it's open to kind of like a lot of levels, and there's ways to kind of progress there, and you can kind of do whatever you want within reason as well. So if you want to learn to put together like fleets and compositions and fits and stuff like that, then you've got like an active community to work with who can help and support you through that as well. And yeah, we're always keen for new FCs, because more FCs mean more content, obviously. What else? So yeah, so you've come on a fleet. Hopefully you had fun. But you lost a ship, so that could be a bit sad. But one of the things that we do is SRP. So it's a ship replacement program. So if you lose a ship on one of our fleets, unless like explicitly stated otherwise, which is very rare, you can apply for some SRP after the fleet. So you send the in-game boss mail to your FC, and normally within like a week or so, they'll get you some money back for that. So it's gonna be really good. Obviously, if you are trying to learn to PvP, especially when you're new at Eve, that can feel very expensive, and you know, it's pretty rough to be losing ships whilst trying to learn. That is basically the loop that we go through to get better, right? And that's pretty much all funded from the loot we get from killing expensive ships and donations from more experienced players as well. So you have to buy your ship in advance, obviously, but if you do lose it, then you hopefully won't be too far out of pocket. That is kind of like really the basics of like who we are, what we do, the types of fleet we run. I think like just to talk through some of the kind of like fun things we've done recently. I can talk through some of my fleets that have been interesting recently. A couple of weeks ago, I killed my first Babaroga on one of our fleets, which was exciting. We were in some Osprey navies, and we went to Horde space to look for a fight, but they just wanted to turbo bomb us, so we left and went to go and poke in it. And then when we got there, they dropped a Barbaroga, which is like one of the new T2 trig marauders, on us. And then we had a very, very touch and go fight with it. We just about beat it in the end and got a very nice, juicy 20 billion kill mail from it, which is nice. I run a lot of fleets of Osprey navies, which are really fun, kind of kite missile ships, looking for fights against like the nullsec big blobs, hoping to try and get a bit of a fight from them, but without committing too much, which can be pretty fun. You had good fights recently with like Frat and AO and other groups around the place. I also haven't run for quite a bit because of some of the changes in Botchman, but we'll be running again soon for the first time in probably a year or so. This Botchman fleet, which I mentioned earlier, which is all kind of like going and killing very, very mini battleships in Botchman, which is cool, especially if you've not been to Botchman before. We used to have a lot more gate camps. We don't have so many more. The system that we used to camp a lot in has become slightly more hostile than it used to be for us. But we still have the odd one every now and then, and it's a great way to start learning to like FC and start learning to do PvP as well. So keep an eye out for those if you like that kind of thing. Yeah, I would say Saturday nights are kind of like the really big fleets where we probably can get up to like 70 to 100 odd people, down to kind of like earlier AUTZ fleets where you can get a much smaller gang with like Kaiser, but very, very good at what he does, very focused, very like very experienced FC, getting you to do very cool things against like high numbers and coming out successfully from that. That's my sort of very brief overview on Spectre. But I hope maybe you can just open up for questions.
Hey, it's Shifty here. I've got one question that might be helpful. What would you say is the minimum recommended level of experience where we would be able to enjoy the fleets, and what would you say is the recommended level of experience in terms of, say, skills and also pilot experience?
Yeah, great question. So I think to really feel like you're not just getting swamped. I mean, you may feel a little bit swamped the first time anyway, right? I think something new can be a bit overwhelming anyway. You get better as you do it more. But I think you kind of need to be able to move through space pretty comfortably. You need to be able to kind of follow a route that's being set on an autopilot. You need to be able to like be on voice chat and hear people and understand where they're telling you to go. You want to be able to see and understand who's broadcasting a target for you and like what you should be shooting and how to like anchor up on an FC. Once you can kind of do all those things, which I think are relatively basic, I think you should start being able to have fun on fleets like these. I don't think you really need much more than that. I don't think there's like much of a difference between like that kind of minimum and then some other level where you'll start having fun, right? I think as soon as you can like understand how to move around through Eve and fly a ship, then you can start working out specifically what you enjoy, right? And what sort of fleets you enjoy and what you want to do more of.
That sounds good. Thank you. What would you say is the time zone? Is it all time zones that the FCs mostly go out, or is it EU, or what would you say is the main time zone?
Yeah, I think EU is by far the strongest at the moment, at least. You do have some US, although we used to have more. It kind of waxes and wanes as like the FC roster sort of changes over time, right? As people go off and do different things. But definitely EU is the strongest. And then you have a bit of US and then a bit of AU as well.
Okay, good to know. And I see you recommended the whole divers doctrine there.
Yep.
Is that kind of like the main? Is that the most popular one at the moment, or do they shift and change?
So I say, yeah, every MC kind of has their preferred sort of doctrines that they tend to fly. So it will depend a lot depending on the FC. I think it's a little bit different to an alliance in that regard, or to like another group like Bombers Bar, where you're kind of flying, or like funning where you're flying a lot of the same ships all the time. There can be quite a lot of variety in Spectre, which I think is really fun, both for people flying the ships, but also for like FCs who want to learn to do different stuff as well, and people who want to learn to do different roles. So I think Gothi runs the whole divers quite a bit. I run sort of Osprey navies and exec navies and things like that quite a bit, but there's not really like a Spectre fleet kind of doctrine so much like that. It really is just like what people are interested in doing, or what they're having fun doing, and what people on the fleet are having fun doing. And one of the things we'll always ask for at the end of fleets is feedback, right? And people who come on the fleets help shape what we do in the future as well. So if you let us know what you're liking and not liking, it'll help influence what doctrines FCs want to run, basically.
Well, that's actually quite helpful, because I need to, like a lot of us here with low skill points, we need to be very frugal with where we spend our skill points in the beginning. And
Yeah.
And then we look at, I look at different ships that look cool, and then I try to see, okay, how often are these used in certain doctrines, and like what ship is most likely going to give me a good time if I can get into it, and just that one. So you're talking about the Executor, and like, I mean, I would like to aim to fit into that, because that's actually, it looks like a really amazing ship. And if you guys are taking it out often, it'll be nice to get in it.
Yeah, so there's definitely like some ships that I think are just more popular in general, not just in Spectre, but across the game, right? So I think for the cruisers, things like Osprey Navy and exec navies are like just really popular ships. They're very effective for what they do. So actually, like, training into those, you're probably going to have like a good time. I was saying for some bombers and bombers bar and stuff like that, you probably need to train into one bomber to start off with, but then, I think trying to, I would say like those couple of cruisers, and then getting into like some of the destroyers, And then maybe like assault frigates as well. Like the Retribution is pretty popular one for us as well. So that's like a kind of armor tanked assault frigate. So yeah, I know it's tricky. It's tricky at the start. It's tricky when like people are flying different things as well, and like you just say, "Oh, I just trained the other thing that you're flying." Then you look at like the Holdivers one, right? Like it's a pretty low SP comp to be able to get in the ship. Like I think it doesn't. No one expects you with Spectre to be like, "Oh, your skills must be maxed for this type of ship or whatever," right? If you can sort of sit in it and have fun, like that's half the battle, honestly.
So which tactical destroyer, which T3 destroyer would you recommend?
I would go. It depends a little bit. Like I would say Hecate personally because A, it's one of my favorite ships, and B, Hecate fleets are just very very fun. Generally, we don't need that many T3 fleets actually. I think you kind of almost say like the ones that you probably aren't worth paying anything into at the moment. So like the Speedball is probably not like a great shout to train into because no one really uses it. Jackdaws can be good and are popular with some people. I actually tend to run low flycatcher fleets, which are kind of like a nice alternative for that sort of niche of like small missile tanky boat. So we don't actually have that much flycatcher stuff. And we don't really do anything with confessors. I don't know of a confessor doctrine that we really run ever with Spectre. So I definitely say like the Hecate, however you say it, is probably the best one to go for there.
Thank you. I know it's a little bit off topic, but that's quite helpful information.
I think it's also the more fun one to fly solo and stuff if you want to as well, right? Like you've got kind of probes, you can go and probe things down, land on them at 0, and then just start blasting them with pretty high damage. Like it's kind of the more interesting ship, I think.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I'm looking through the website now, and the Discord looks to have most of the info. So yeah, thank you.
Well, yeah, hope to see all of you on a fleet soon. Like I said, there's one going out right now, so if you're quick, go join it and see how you find it. There's no better way to find out by doing it, and that's a pretty good first fleet, I would say, as like a 4 million ISK destroyer goes.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Where do you often stage? Where's the most likely place for you to stage out of?
Cheetah. By far cheetah. Like it's very rare actually that it's not cheetah. Just it catches people by surprise when we go somewhere else. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming and listening. Hopefully you got something out of that, and hopefully we'll see you on the fleet soon.